There's a light in the sky, rising in the air. There's a feeling so strong. It's time to light the fire, like a bright shining light. Learn, getting more out of life. Sharing time with friends, feeling so strong.
Hello and welcome to the House of Wellness. I'm Jo Stanley and it's great to be joined as always by Rachael Finch and Luke Hines.
Hey, Jo.
We are, of course, down one Luke Darcy, though he's indulging in some meditation and yoga somewhere
poor
fabulous.
thing.
Lucky
of course,
man.
I know, poor him. So we are being joined by one of my favourite people, Bianca Chatfield.
Yay, welcome, Bianca. The much more attractive version of Darcy. No offence.
No, we love having you though. We've got so much to talk about and we have to start with netball, of course. It is such a massive time for them, going gangbusters as a sport, particularly in WA with a massive sponsorship deal of around $5 million to netball over there over the next 3 years. And of course our girls are at the World Cup right now.
That's right, it is growing, and it was actually only just the stats came out that Australia netball is still the #1 team sport for females, which really excites me, knowing me, I love the sport so much. And the exciting thing is that the Australian team at the moment are over at the World Cup in the UK, in Liverpool. Anything could happen. We're going in as underdogs for the first time in a long time. England are #1. Anything can happen, but I'm pretty excited.
Can't wait.
Go the Diamonds.
Now, Bianca, there is no doubt you're a legend and netball has been a huge part of your life, which is really exciting, but it must have been really hard stepping away from the game. But can you ever really walk away?
Well, you know, the transition was tough because you're so used to being so competitive and playing so much. But for me, I was ready. My body was ready for a break. I needed to rest these old knees of mine. But now, you don't walk away at all. I do some commentary and I also spend some time with an academy that I set up for young netballers. But talking about a holistic approach to the sport rather than just about the on-court serious skills stuff, it's about everything that goes around it, your nutrition, your health, everything we talk about here.
Because I imagine it is such a mental game.
Oh, it is tough mentally and physically, but as we know, you've got to look after all of it, don't you?
All right. Now, I believe you took a couple of AFL boys through their paces during the week, not on the netball court, though.
No, not on the netball court. Jack Nunes and Jack Steele from St Kilda Football Club, they were very brave and they came to an extend bar class with me in Melbourne.
Wow. It's not easy.
It is not easy.
No.
They did not know what they were in for, and do you know what? Either did I. But stay with us for that one later.
Have fun.
Well, I had a very special treat during the week. Dr. Michael Mosley, physician and science journalist who has totally revolutionised the way we think about diet, lifestyle and disease, was in town. So I got to spend some time with him in an interview, of course. And honestly, there's just so much to cover with him. His books are amazing. There's the 8-week sugar diet, the Clever Guts diet, which is one of my favourites, the famous 5-2 diet that has changed the lives of so many people, including mine, and most recently the Fast 800.
I absolutely love him. He's a legend. He's living proof that you can actually use intermittent fasting to help heal diseases such as diabetes type 2 and that real food is the best approach.
Absolutely, you are so right, Heinzie. He did put his diabetes into remission by changing his diet, and he's all about a thing called de-prescribing, which is about helping people to eat better so they don't need medication. So, I just got really the tip of the iceberg with him, and here's just a taste of the man himself in full flight. So then, is sugar an addiction?
100%. I mean, it's not so much the sugar, it's the perfect I don't stick my face into a bowl of sugar and snort it up. That does nothing for me at all, I have to say. It is that perfect combination of fat and sugar. It's actually a kind of ratio. There's the magical ratio of 2 to 1, of basically 2 units of carbs to 1 of fat, which you find in almost every addictive food.
I did not know that.
And do you know why we find that so attractive?
Why?
Oh, stop leaving
You can't
us
do
in the
that!
lurch.
Joe! No!
How is that? He has the science for that very big question as to why we are addicted, why that special ratio 2 to 1. You'll be stunned when you hear the
That's
answer.
not fair.
And that's right after this on the House of Wellness. Welcome back. I know you were left hanging before the break. Heinzie, are you okay?
Very cruel. I'm still recovering.
Listen, it is worth the wait. Dr. Michael Mosley, a BBC journo and best-selling author, changed what he ate and how he ate and put his diabetes 2 into remission. He documented his own journey in the 2012 program Eat Fast, Live Longer, which everyone should watch. It's really amazing. And I was lucky enough to spend some time with him.
And I was utterly gobsmacked when I first came across this research. It started with Roy Taylor and the diabetes research. Then I spoke to Professor Susan Jebb, who's one of the leading experts in Oxford University on weight loss, and she said to me, look, we know that the amount of weight you lose in the first 4 weeks predicts weight loss at 6 months, a year, 2 years and 5 years. That actually rapid weight loss is motivating. She set out to do a big trial to demonstrate that rapid weight loss was a terrible idea and ended up proving the exact opposite. And she published about 6 months ago. And so she said, look, it's incredibly motivating. It's not suitable for everyone. But what we do see is if you do it properly, you do it safely, you do it carefully, then it is much, much more likely to succeed than slow and steady. And there's a big study about to come out in Australia I'm aware of, which will say exactly the same thing. And again, the researcher I spoke to said she set out to prove the opposite 4 years ago, and she was so impressed by the results, she put herself on a rapid weight loss diet and lost about 20 kilos.
Wow.
So there is a consistent body of evidence which points that way. The reason why rapid weight loss diets got such a bad rap was because there were a lot of dodgy ones in the 70s where there was very poor quality protein. And you need to eat decent amounts of protein, and that's probably 50 to 60 grams a day. You don't use protein as fuel, you use it to basically build new cells. So the Mediterranean diet is the best studied diet on the planet. It has been subject to so many trials. And what it has in it is essentially, fruit and veggies, which is what you expect. Decent amounts of oily fish. Oily fish is very good for the brain. Lots of olive oil, splash on things. It also has a lot of nuts, because nuts turn out to be rather good for you. In the trials, they were allowed to drink a glass or two of red wine. Not every evening.
That.
We like that. And also some dark chocolate. So this is kind of quite high fat, quite low carb, but not keto, not crazy low, and not crazy high other. And on that, in the trials, what they found is that it significantly cut your risk of heart disease, of developing diabetes. Women, it cut their risk of breast cancer. And in a big study done in Melbourne, they found that people who were moderately, severely depressed, when they were put on a Mediterranean diet, around a third of them basically were able to come off medication. And they did astonishingly well. So there's some great research being done in Australia on this topic.
That's amazing. Okay, so we know that being overweight is not great. Then why is it that we are unable to control our desire for food that we know is bad for us?
Because the food manufacturers have worked it out like that. They have worked out what our weaknesses are. It's exactly like the smoking industry. The tobacco industry worked out pretty early on how to get people hooked. They knew nicotine was addictive, and that's what they flogged. And that's what the food industry is doing. It is producing these hyper-palatable foods, foods that we just cannot say no to. When I start on a bar of chocolate, I do not stop. I know it is bad for me. I know it's going to make me fat, spotty, diabetic, but I cannot eat 1 square of chocolate. My wife can do that. I eat 1 square, 2 squares, 3 squares, and then unless I stick it in the bin, I will go on to the bitter end.
So then is sugar an addiction?
100%. I mean, it's not so much the sugar, it's the perfect I don't stick my face into a bowl of sugar and snort it up. That does nothing for me at all, I have to say. It is that perfect combination of fat and sugar. It's actually a kind of ratio. There's the magical ratio of 2 to 1, of basically 2 units of carbs to 1 of fat, which you find in almost every addictive food. And do you know why we find that so attractive?
Why?
Because it is in the first food we ever ate. Basically breast milk. That's where you find that ratio. And what the food manufacturers have brilliantly realized is if they replicate it from everything from crisps through chocolate, through pizza, you name it, it all obeys that 2 to 1 ratio.
Wow, I did not know that. That's amazing.
It is.
Oh, my goodness.
How's that?
Everyone needs to see that story.
Oh, he is so fascinating. He just empowers us with information. Particularly, Michael ranks the Mediterranean diet as one of his favourites and the best on the planet. Things like fish, nuts, beans, olive oil, fresh fruit and veggies. I know you're nodding your head.
Yes.
It's all great for physical health and the key to helping combat depression.
Look, there was a study done in the US that found that chocolate topped the list when it comes to addictive food, and no surprise, followed by ice cream, French fries, pizza, biscuits, chips, and then burgers at the bottom.
Of course, and I was really amazed to hear the comparison to smoking and that food manufacturers actually work on our psyche in the same way as the tobacco industry to get us
Lure
hooked.
us in
So
and addicted.
scary. It's terrible.
It's really scary, and, you know, they go for children too, which is so hard as parents. The Fast 800 has even more great diet advice and recipes and is already a global bestseller, so do check it out. I'm getting my husband onto it. Quick smart. Next week, Hinesy, you'll love this, Michael Mosley reveals how he puts his diabetes 2 in remission.
It's so important. Diabetes is an epidemic now, with over 1.7 million Aussies living with it and up to 500,000 type 2 diabetes cases undiagnosed.
Oh my gosh. Yes, It's obviously a huge issue, so make sure you check that out. Next, a couple of our top AFL stars swap the footy boots for ballet shoes. Bianca, I can't wait. But first, Zoe's got something cooking.
Here's something that's really good to know. Smoothie powders can actually be used for more than just smoothies. Today, I'm going to make beautiful chocolate banana muffins using smoothie powder. Now, the BioGland Probiotic smoothie powder I really like because it's got chia, oat and plant-based protein. Now, why that is so important is the plant-based protein is very slow releasing, so it keeps you fuller for longer. It has a lower glycemic index, so it means that energy that we're all trying to keep more of is consistent throughout the day. So this recipe simply is about having half a cup of the chocolate powder in here. I then got my almond meal. And what I already had in the bowl was some wholemeal flour. You could use spelt, buckwheat, it's really your choice. I've got some baking powder and a little bit of extra cacao. Who doesn't like more chocolate in their life? I've got to mash my 2 bananas. Bananas, they're the unsung hero. I mean, my daughter loves eating bananas. It's an easy fruit to get in her diet, but they're packed full of potassium. We need potassium because it actually works as a bit of a natural antidepressant. Add your eggs and your milk. Now it's just a matter of blending the two together. So this will take about 20 minutes in a 180-degree oven. The frosting is so easy. It's simply cream cheese, a little bit of milk of your choice, maple syrup, which I love using because it's got a lovely sort of caramelly flavour to it, but it's actually lower glycemic index than sugar, and a little bit of vanilla essence. And simply beat it till smooth. Wait until your muffins have cooled and then top it with your cream cheese, maple syrup frosting, banana chips on top and a little bit of extra chocolate. This really is the perfect protein snack that's not a smoothie.
You're watching The House of Wellness. Now, Rach, what people don't see, which I absolutely love, behind the scenes here at The House of Wellness is when you cut loose on the dance floor here in the studio.
A couple of cha-cha walks. I just, you know, sorry to put you all through that.
That was good. We love
I
it.
absolutely love dance. I started 10 years ago when I did Dancing with the Stars. I fell in love with my partner, who we had 2 beautiful children too, but it's completely transformed my life. And it's not just the physical aspects that I love about it, it's the mental clarity, the memory focus, the concentration that it gives me. Forgot what I was going to say. So. No.
You've got some feeling.
No, I love it. It's the best sport and it's a true connector for me of mind, body and soul. So,
Rach, I love seeing what you've learnt, and you dance around here, and it also rubs off on Gerald, who sometimes does a bit of dirty dancing behind the bar.
You know what? My 6'2" body, I think I'm too tall to coordinate these limbs to be able to dance.
We'd make good partners.
We would, actually.
Yes, I found my match.
Well, you know, you don't have to be a dancer to go and try out Extend Bar, which is why I think I might actually take it up. Although, as the name suggests, people might think it's got something to do with ballet, but let me assure you, there is no floating around or wearing tutus, as I found out.
Vicky's life has been all about dance. Classically trained, she travelled the world performing. These days you could say she's still doing that, only now it's in front of a class, working up a sweat in the latest fitness phenomenon, Extend Bar.
Vicky, what is Extend Bar?
It's dance, it's Pilates, it's group fitness. You take little bits of ballet and little bits of dance and use them as sort of repetitions like you might do in a gym. But the most important thing is Extend Bar is really a positive, fun, challenging workout that people can come and do and get everything done. You don't have to do strength training one day, cardio the next day. You don't have to do legs one day, upper body the next day. It's everything, one 55-minute class. Press. Good job. Tap those feet underneath those hips. Good. You've got for 8 and 7 and 6. Keep going, Claire. You've got it. 4 more.
What kind of people come and do the class? Male, females, young, old?
Yeah, generally it's females. That dance aspect scares the guys a little bit, I think. And also I think there's a little bit of a misconception that the guys think it's just kind of flitting about, pointing your toes. But it's definitely not just that.
Meet Jack Nunes and Jack Steele. These two have played 216 games between them for St Kilda Football Club. They're tough professional athletes who know what it's like to train and play hard. But can they cut the Extend Bar challenge?
I'm not flexible at all, so I reckon I'll battle a lot if that is what it incorporates.
Well, I'm excited for the challenge, I'll say that.
By the way, they have no idea what Extend Bar is.
So just press play?
This is what we're doing, is it?
Yep.
I'm a touch uncoordinated, so I might battle.
I don't know if I'm that flexible.
So we've got 2 AFL players coming in. What do you think the boys are going to struggle with?
It'll be those tiny movements, those small little pulses where you start to feel those legs burning. I think they'll find that hard. Of course, the dance aspect and the ballet aspect, if they've never danced before, they might find that one challenging.
And are we going to see them sweating?
Hope so.
Hey, boys. All right, let's go into the studio.
Let's go for 8. Press. Go down.
Guys, this is Vicky, your instructor. I'm going to leave you in there.
Nice to meet you,
Jack. Hi, Vicky. How are you?
Good. Come in, guys. We've got a spot right in the middle for you. And 7. Good.
Right.
Keep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Chest nice and proud. Imagine you're between 2 panes of glass. Good job. We're going into our advanced curtsy on the second leg. Nice and slow. We take it down. And then you're lifting up. Again, go down. Lift it up. 3 more. Plie
burning my legs.
And you pulse it down. Plie, pulse it down. That's it, good. Go down. You're on one leg. 3. Pulse your right leg down. Plie, go down. Down, good. Nice work. Keep those shoulders down your back. We go down. Use your breath. Squeeze those elbows out and in. Good. Squeezing those arms. Keep breathing. Feet together. Breathe it. Inhale in.
Boys, how's the warm-up for you?
Well, I didn't think that was the warm-up. I thought that was the main session, so...
You're sweating already.
Yeah, I'm driven.
All right, let's get back to it.
And down. That's it. Can we go a little bit quicker? We're going. Lift up. Go down an inch here. We're going down an inch, up an inch. Nice. Go down an
You've got
inch,
the shakes.
up an inch. Proud again for me. A little bit quicker. Here we go. Right, left. Good. Keep that chest nice and proud. Yes. Press. 7, 6. We're going into both heels. We're not quite done yet. and bring it up. Let's go a little bit quicker. We're going up, down, up. Good. Try not to use the bar. Use your leg strength. Press that thigh out. Are you ready to hold? 3 more. Lift. Hold still. Work that balance. Work that thigh out. You got it.
My heart's racing. It doesn't look like it's that hard, but it just shows how hard it is and how much it does get your muscles. My muscles are burning.
And so not just strength, is it? There's a lot of cardio involved.
Plenty of cardio.
A lot of core. It's like working muscles that we probably don't use
Exactly right.
all that often. So
Got your water, because I figure you both need it so far.
Absolutely, we do.
And then scoop to roll back into your C curve. And you're drawing your belly in. Press. Good job. 8 more like this. Lift. Lift. Good. 3. Bring your legs back to that tabletop position. Good job, guys. Keeping those hips nice and square. Squeeze. Try not to plonk those hips down. Try and resist them down. Yeah, you've got a clam in there as well. Rock forwards and back. Go 4 and 3. Tap. Nice work. 4 more. 3 more. 2. And lower down into your shell stretch.
I had an inkling it would be tough, but that was actually very hard. I had to pull out of a few exercises, so it was a lot harder than I thought, but it's good fun.
Do you like incorporating the dance element into your workout?
I certainly don't, unless I've had a couple of beers, but no, I'm very uncoordinated and couldn't quite keep up with the girls. Steely looked like he...
Yeah, I think I was a bit better than you, but I was still struggling.
Vicky, what did you think of the boys' effort?
Oh, look, they did really well. They tried their hardest. There were a few little shaky moments, literally. And at first the coordination was a little bit off, balance was a little bit off. But you could see as the class went on, the little corrections that I helped them with, it definitely got better. I'm really, really happy for them.
Mate, do you want to get a rub now or what?
Massage?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Oh, the Jacks. That's Jack Nunes and Jack Steele proving that they were such good sports by going out and doing the class with me. And unfortunately, though, since then, Jack Steele did dislocate his knee at training. So I think he needs to go back to some more extend bar classes for his rehab.
They've inspired me to definitely give a class like that a go.
Yeah, I've never tried it either, but the core stability, the total body strength and that stamina needed. I mean, you work muscles you don't even know you have.
Yeah, and it's so interesting that the smallest of movements can have such an impact in a class like that if you know how to do it.
So maybe we need a team class altogether.
Let's do it. With Gerald.
We keep the energy turned up to 11 as we look at the latest fitness apps and wearable tracking technologies right after this. Welcome back to the House of Wellness. Well, it started with high-tech, high-top sneakers, remember those? Moved on from the Walkman to the iPod and has culminated in sports bands like the Fitbit. I'm talking about wearable technology designed to motivate us to move. And here to talk us through what's new in that world is Vanessa Toholka. Hi, Vanessa.
Hello.
Lovely to see you again.
Great to see you.
Wearable technology is booming. What do you see as its biggest advancement?
I think, like many areas of technology, things are getting smaller and smarter, and that means that they're working in with our lives much better.
So at the moment, what is new right now?
Oh, there's this fabulous thing from a Finnish company, and it's called the Uro ring. It's this little ring that you can wear, so it's very discreet. Yeah, so compared to wearing a band or something, you can wear it 24/7. It has a week's charge and it will track your body temperature, you know, your blood flow, your movements.
Sleep as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's perfect for that. Instead of having your phone temptation in the bedroom. Yeah, so the ring's amazing.
Now, I love my technology. How much is this going to cost me?
It's pretty pricey. It's $300 US, which at the moment translates to about $430 AU. Yeah.
Right, wow. And do you know, I think I saw them last year and they were quite chunky, like those big skull rings. But now they're a lot smaller, aren't they? Like a wedding band?
They have cut them down a lot. You can get them in things like rose gold, so it can work in with your fashion as well.
So that's for the fingers. What about something for the feet?
There's amazing Sensoria socks that you can get these days that can help you improve your running cadence and really give you feedback about, are you doing damage to yourself when you're out exercising?
Amazing.
Well, I absolutely support anything that motivates you to keep moving, but I have to say I wore a Fitbit for a while and it really kind of messed with my head because I don't need things that help me self-criticise. Do you think there's a danger, Vanessa, that we may be monitoring ourselves too much?
There can be that, but I think there's a balance to find, and the ones that just give you a little bit of a nudge, a little bit of a wiggle, like now's a great time to exercise, I think those ones that work for me best are the ones that, I recommend to friends. Yeah.
I absolutely love getting outdoors and walking my gorgeous dog, Chia. Is there an app that can encourage me to get out there, but also to make sure that I'm keeping my dog fit, Vanessa?
Oh, how cute.
Absolutely.
Isn't it tubby? She's got a belly.
Yeah, so FitBark is the fitness tracker designed for your animal companions. And, it could be a cat or a dog predominantly.
Where does it sit?
You can put it on their collar, where they're used to having something around. And it's so much less guilt-inducing than putting them on those restricted diets where they look at you with those puppy eyes.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to help a cat, though. A fat cat is a fat cat. I've got a fat cat. I love my fat cat.
Your fat cat sounds adorable.
She is.
Look, we love our pets and marketers know that too. And so, who doesn't get warm and fuzzy feelings when you're watching a dog interact with its owner? Take a look at this.
Health is not thrust upon us. It's something we build every day. When it's about our health, we don't compromise. We refuse to settle for mediocrity and best guesses. We inspired new tools so we could move beyond the uncertainty. We learned how to set the right goals, how to work hard to get at the top, to let them know how we fare when we are apart, to give them new insights when we're not feeling well, so they can make smarter decisions about our health and behavior. We set out to explore, to build something bigger than us. A world where we all know what health looks like. Because we owe it to our humans to get them off the couch, to keep hounding them to stay active and healthy. So we can wake up every day of our lives and go totally insane with joy.
I don't know, is that going too far?
My dog lives a sheltered life.
Yeah.
He just goes down to the park and that's it.
Well, that's it. Let dogs be dogs. I think, we're all across the fact that there are dog and cat hotels and cafes and hair salons. And have you seen this now? You can get non-alcoholic beer and wine for cats and dogs on Amazon. Let them just be animals. They're not humans.
So cute.
Oh, it's madness. Anyway, it's always a treat welcoming our hero of health, Gerald Quigley. Hi, Cheeky.
Hello, Joe.
Are you a pet pooch pamperer, or are you more of just a bone and a dirty old tennis ball will do for your...
Well, in my previous life, I was a big dog, big bone person. But we're in an apartment now, so Philippa just has me.
Now, guys, there's no doubt that pets are great for mental health and self-esteem, but unfortunately the same can't be said for cold sores. What are they?
These are blisters, Hinesy, which occur on your lips usually or around your mouth or nose, unsightly, uncomfortable, sometimes painful, and they tend to hang around in certain individuals.
Now, is it true that this is also a form of the herpes virus, and once that you have the virus, it's there for life?
It's the herpes simplex virus, Hinesy, that we're all exposed to, and most of us have inbuilt resistance, so it never gets out of control. But certain individuals, particularly when they're exposed to the right triggers, tend to have an outbreak. That's not everybody, and it seems to be some people who roll from one outbreak to another.
what causes an outbreak and how do you avoid them?
We're talking here lips usually, so dry lips. Wind, rain, stress, cold, anything which is going to cause a little split there, which is where the virus, very happy little virus, sits in there and replicates. And but stress is probably where dry lips cause an issue.
All right. Now, a lot of people say that you should avoid chocolate and nuts. Apart from that, is there anything else that we can be doing?
The nuts issue is about an amino acid called arginine. Now, arginine is very high in nuts and chocolate, and that is one of the triggers that can cause an outbreak. So if you do find that you struggle with cold sores, avoiding nuts and chocolate can often be enough just to bring things back under control.
And look, I think managing your stress is something that's important because when you get something on your face, you're going to probably stress about it.
Yes.
And you need to manage that as well.
Yes, and stress is there, but there's also ranges of nutrients that can make a difference. I mentioned arginine. The balancing amino acid is lysine.
Okay.
So if you use lysine as a supplement, because we don't make it in our body, that tends to offset the process of replication. So combinations of lysine, antiviral, vitamin C, zinc, and one of our favourite herbs, astragalus, which is an immune-boosting herb, those things in combination, regularly taken, tends to reduce the outbreaks.
Now, you mentioned that cold sores are actually highly infectious. How do you prevent passing them on?
You've just got to isolate yourself. So it could cramp your style. No kissing.
Mate.
You don't share a cup or a glass. But particularly if you're a very sharing person, I know you are.
Yes.
You've just got to
share
say
a
to
dressing
yourself,
room.
Yes, I know, and I'll be very careful. It just means you just cut back and isolate yourself in fairness to others.
Mate, some great info in there about the combination of some powerful herbs that can prevent and help treat cold sores. Thanks, Gerald.
Pleasure.
The A to Z of Vitamins is brought to you by Ethical Nutrients, the creators of premium quality natural medicines that speak your body's language.
Welcome back to the House of Wellness, and can I say, ladies, I am really enjoying having the three of us women here together. Well, each of us with our own energies and our own looks.
Yeah. And do you know what? I'm so intrigued by different cultures and what people find attractive. And the best thing about Instagram is that you get to see all of this. And there's a model that I've found who has the most incredible set of eyebrows. Her name is Sophie Penteli, and she's an activist, but she's also challenging the female beauty norms, and she's a founder of the Unibrow Movement. Take a look.
My purpose is not to tell everyone to get a unibrow. You can change yourself however you want. It's up to you, because ultimately it is your life. That when I started the Unibrow movement, it was never something, oh, I want to inspire people. I grew them because I loved it and I thought it looked cool, and I love changing my look because I think that's what makes me feel most confident. It's just important to start accepting the way people look. Eyebrows, skin color, gender, sexual orientation, religion, everything. It's so important to be accepting.
Such a powerful message, isn't it?
And she's so real, and that's what, you just can feel that energy in her.
Oh, absolutely. And when you're raising daughters, you want them to be able to see all different looks everywhere they look, so that they know that I might not fit into what's typically beautiful, but there are other things I can see that look like me.
Yeah, and
I feel normal and gorgeous.
Exactly, and what's normal for one person may not be normal for the next. I mean, I know personally I get a lot of questions about my makeup, my fashion, but the beautiful thing is we are all so different and there are no rules. We can easily get caught up in following trends or staying current, but I'm a big believer in exactly what we're talking about, embracing your own style. And if you need some winter makeup inspo, check this out.
Every good makeup starts with a good skincare base. No matter what kind of makeup you put on, if your skin's looking good, your makeup will always look great and you don't have to cover up as much. So in winter, one of the most important parts of that is to make sure your skin's really hydrated, because generally in winter, people's skin tends to dry out a little bit. Hydration, it gives your skin that natural radiance and it makes fine lines look less visible, and it also makes your makeup glide on and plump out your skin a little bit so your skin looks nice and youthful and full and radiant. You still do need to wear sun protection. So as a base, we've used the Bioderma Photoderm BB cream, which is a 50+, but it doesn't look like makeup on her skin. It looks like her skin, but better. It just puts this beautiful veil on that gives a bit of radiance and makes it look really nice and even. So a BB cream is a great option for this natural everyday look because you don't look weighed down with makeup. It doesn't look like a mask of makeup. It just looks like your skin. So it's really nice to add a little bit of warmth to the complexion because we can feel a little bit washed out. We're not as tanned as we usually are. So using a nice bronzer, we've used a beautiful peachy tone that's on the cheeks to give the face nice shape and warmth. And I've also just gently contoured the eye a little bit with some nice warm taupey colours. One of my favourite things to do for the lip is to use a little bit of lip liner in a nice neutral colour. Just lightly put it on the lips and rub it in and then add a little dab of lip balm and it just gives you this really beautiful stained look rather than a block colour. Using the micellar water, it's perfect to have nearby while you're doing your makeup because if you make little mistakes like the best of us do on your lips or your eyeline or you get a bit of mascara somewhere, you just get it on a cotton tip and it can instantly, it's like a little eraser to perfect your makeup. So a really beautiful nighttime look in winter is a bold lip. It's a classic, it never goes out of fashion and it can really add a pop to your makeup. I really like the less is more kind of look. Everything's soft, not too many hard lines. With one of the looks I did a bold eyeliner, but I kept the rest of the makeup really neutral. When I did the bold lip, I kept the eye really soft, so it was just about lashes and a little bit of eyeshadow. The good thing with that kind of makeup where everything else is neutral but you've got that statement lip is you can kind of match it with anything. It's kind of always a winner. It's a classic, you know, a red lip never goes out of fashion.
From makeup to that all-important transition of starting your bub on solid foods, that's next on the House of Wellness. Welcome back to the House of Wellness. Now, for those of us who have kids, remember when they were babies, sitting up in the high chair and remember handing them that first piece of solid food. Do you remember the look on their faces? My beautiful Willow, she had this smile like it was the greatest moment of her short life.
What?
And we made, because she was so happy to get it, we made the mistake of moving the spoon away from her and she reached and nearly fell out of the high chair.
Give me more.
Don't take it from me.
Oh, that's hilarious. But Jo, they don't always come out as good as Willow.
No,
there are
I was very lucky.
Terrible experiences because as any parent knows, facing a fussy eater and the mountain of often conflicting advice on what's best for your bub can make meal times an absolute minefield. And when they're moving onto solids, it is a whole new ball game.
Any parent knows how hard it can be to navigate the new world of food with babies. Zoe, mother to 4.5-month-old Jasmine, is now at that stage.
She's just on formula at the moment. She's had a little taste of a couple of different things, but we haven't really started yet.
In terms of moving to solids, we want to be, first of all, noticing that your baby is looking like they want to eat and obviously making sure that they can sit up properly so that they have that head control. So what has she had so far, Zoe?
She's tried a little bit of carrot, which she spat straight back out.
Yeah. Just because they spit them out doesn't mean that they don't like it.
Okay.
You would expect her to spit out pretty much everything at this age. So why don't we start with some of the cereals? So you've bought one of the iron-rich cereals.
Yep.
Do you want to try feeding her? And again, we'll expect her to take a mouthful and spit it out. So one of the most important things to remember about introducing solids is that we need to be starting with foods that are really rich in iron because babies are growing so quickly at this stage. Omega-3 is another great nutrient to be considering for our little ones because it's fantastic for brain development and so something to be looking for in the foods that you're giving them.
Oh.
Yep, so she'll be able to correct that herself.
Okay.
And again, that's part of the learning how to swallow.
Yep.
Another good thing to do is to get them to imitate you. So we have some broccoli.
Yum, yum, yum.
We definitely want our little ones to be exposed to a variety of nutritious foods, different colours and textures as well. I see a lot of parents worrying about starting off with very pureed foods. But we actually want our babies to develop their chewing skills because that's how they strengthen their gums and strengthen their jaw muscles to be able to learn to talk as well. There's a few foods that we do need to make sure that we avoid. Okay. So things like grapes and cherry tomatoes are classics because they're perfect size for little hands to be holding, but the skins on them can be quite a choking hazard. Now, peanut butter is another great one. So you could put a little bit of peanut butter onto the apple. Another important thing to remember is to be introducing plenty of allergens. And so we do obviously need to watch her after she's had some peanut butter. But again, the more regularly that she has that peanut butter, the more it will actually build up her immune tolerance to it and the less likely she will be to have allergies. Okay. We want to put a little smock on our little ones, put out a big plastic mat and let them get messy because the more that they get exposed to those different tastes and textures, the more development your baby is going to have.
Oh, very new, isn't it? Oh, very new. David, what is so important about the transition to solid foods?
It's a time where parents are now taking responsibility for their child's daily nutrient intake, as well as establishing healthy eating habits. And on top of all of that, it's a key stage of their growth and development where nutrition plays a vital role.
David, can you give me some specifics around what nutrients I need to be ticking off for my child?
Bones are one we're really strengthening quite significantly to support their movement and growth. So calcium, vitamin D are really important for helping to support the development of strong bones. Our immune system's another one, which is learning through exposure and identifying what makes the body sick and what the body can actually tolerate. And vitamin D is important for immune health. Probiotics are also good for immune health function, as well as supporting the digestive system. And then, of course, there's our brain, which is undergoing rapid growth and development during the first few years of life. So with every new experience, it's creating connections. So omega-3 fatty acids like DHA help support healthy brain and cognitive function as well.
So useful, and how cute was that baby?
Oh, eat the food.
Not a fan of the broccoli, though.
No, but wasn't it interesting when Melanie said that the faces they pull doesn't necessarily mean they don't like it?
No. Not the case for me, though. Well, that's about it for our dust-free show this week. Bianca, thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's been awesome. Thanks for having me.
You can find more info on anything from today's show on our website. And don't forget to tune into the House of Wellness radio show every Sunday. See you next week. And thanks, as always, to our very good friends at Chemist Warehouse. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. So nice. Those bubbles and the headband.